Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Your success can bother some people. Now, I've touched on this before because, we got some haters out there. If you're a successful person, you're always going to have some haters. I mean, you see that with like celebrities, people who succeed. You probably seen it in your own family. You succeeded, you graduated like that, you got that advanced degree or something. Yeah, or everybody ain't happy for it. Uncle Junior cool because he going to be on, he'll be on the grill, barbecuing and everything, hooking you up. Yeah, your other cousin might be looking at you funny or something. And shoot, that's just within your family. What about like just people you happen to meet? And especially in the world today when people might, they announce on social media they doing something and you're always going to get some hating comments or something like that. Sometimes you don't even know the person, but see, here's the thing. It ain't even so much as jealousy because I've talked about that before. It ain't even so much as jealousy. It bothers them. Now, if they know you personally, it might be an issue. They just don't really like you or they look down on you. All of a sudden you succeeded. Yeah, okay, if they know you personally, but let's be real. Most people get hate. They get jealousy. They get people are bothered by their success and they don't even know the person. See, that's the worst. If you know the person, okay, you might know some stuff. There might have been something that happened. You can halfway understand it, though it's still a waste. But what about those times when the person knows nothing about you? All they know is your public persona. And instead of not just being bothered, not worrying about it, instead of them not knowing how you work to get to that position, it just bothers them. The thing is, it bothers them because they're not doing it. And it's part of that jealousy thing. And it bothers them because it forces them to look in the mirror, especially if they see someone who looks similar to them, might have a similar background, and they see that they're succeeding. And then they look in the mirror and it's like, well, how come I'm not doing that? And then they get mad at the person instead of saying, hold up. This person is from a similar background, looks like me, the same race, religion, social class. Instead of getting mad at that person, sit back and say, okay, they made it, then I can do it. Now, of course, that would seem logical to do, but let's just be real. A lot of people, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And see, instead of looking inside to themselves, they just bothered. They feel bothered and stuff. I've seen it you see it on so many levels and stuff. You might have a group of women in an office or something, they hate one beautiful woman who seems like she's doing something, and plus she's beautiful and they're not. They're gonna be bothered by but for what? For what? The woman's just doing her thing. She was blessed genetically, and she's just living her life. Why be mad at them? But it bothers them because they don't look as good and they're not as successful as the person. And that's really what it is. See, people don't want to be reminded that they're not doing what they could be doing in life. Like, if anybody listening to this, think about the times you might have just disliked somebody. You just say you dislike them. For what? That person don't know you exist. That person don't know you personally. You don't know what they had to do. Because one thing in life, and this is something for anybody who's bothered by someone else's success or something, unless you know them personally, you grew up with them, you can talk about their life from the time they were toddlers. You don't know what they had to go through. You don't know where they had to work, because the reality is when people succeed in life, it is not a straight journey. What do I say constantly? I always say it almost every week. When you're talking about success, this is not a straight line. Anybody who say they just jumped up and they were just successful, well, one, I want to see their academic scores, their IQ scores. They would have to have the perfect storm of everything going in their lives. And usually, even when they come out of successful families, they still had to go through something. So there's nothing wrong with that. And it's just a reality, but it shouldn't bother the next person. For what? The person had to work. Now, even one case, a lot of times when people are bothered by someone else's success, they'll say, oh, they're lucky. They'll say, well, they're a certain race, they're a certain gender, they're a certain class. They still don't know what they had to go through. Because for every positive someone has, any people, any person, any group of people, any nation, there's always some negatives. We all have to, I mean, that's just life. That's just life. But whatever the case, you don't know that person. Why be bothered by their success? Learn from it at best. They succeeded, say, okay, what they do and stuff. And now this don't mean you got to be like, a fan, a big fan of the person, but you don't need to let their success bother you. And really, let's just be real. And I probably need to do a separate podcast on this. Even with their success, you don't know what they're going through. How often have we seen some celebrity, and there's always something in the news, some celebrity, some major person doing well, and then something happens, and all of a sudden they falling on hard times. So let's just be real, or being investigated for something. That just means they got their own demons to fight too. So why worry about them? Why be jealous? Why let that bother you? You can see that they succeeded. Okay. All right. Either learn from or just say, oh, they succeeded. Okay. Let me get focused back on what I have to do. Because ultimately it comes down to you. It comes down to you. You can't let someone else's success bother you. You got to work hard for your own success, for what you want to do in life, what you even consider success. Because, see, that's another thing, too. What do you consider success? It ain't always money. I know some people who are very successful, very happy with what they do, but money-wise, they make just enough to live on. But they still successful because it's what they want to do. Don't let someone else's success bother you. Don't feel jealous and everything. Because like I said, unless you know them personally and they personally did something to you, don't worry about it. And yes, there's some people out there who probably cheated, did whatever to get their success. As I said earlier, there's some people who seemingly successful, but they fall on hard times. It'll catch up with them. You don't worry about it. You don't think about it. Focus on yourself. And if you are bothered by let's put it like this. If you're bothered by someone else's success, you need to stop and look yourself in the mirror and ask, why is this person upsetting my demons? Think about it. You need to deal with that first. Once you deal with that, then you can move forward. All right. So that's all I have for today, y'all. I want y'all to keep rising. Peace and many blessings.